Hi everyone, and welcome to the webinar. Today we are going to be going over part 2 of our BusinessObjects Best Practice series. We have our consultant Neil Dave is going to be covering this second part. I always like to start out our webinars with our mission statement. I'll allow you to read it there. I think it really shows where we're coming from as a company. We view you as partners, not necessarily just a client relationship. The more you succeed, the more we succeed. With that being said, I will go ahead and turn it over to Neil, and he is going to give today's presentation.
Thanks, Trent. So the 3 areas of today's best practice training guide is going to be focused around submitting license keys, also using the tool in BusinessObjects 4.0 called Upgrade Management Tool, and then lastly we'll look a little bit at the BI Launchpad properties. The reason why we felt these 3 things would be very beneficial to you is that, one, with submitting license keys, we've found it very difficult to and sometimes very hard to navigate through the SAP website to actually submit license keys after you've purchased your BusinessObjects product. So that's definitely the first thing we want to take a look at here is how to submit license keys. So the website you want to go to is service.sap.com/support, and it's going to ask you for your certificate. Hit OK. This is your user ID and password that SAP provides to you once you've submitted once you've been added to the SAP portal. It's asking me to confirm that one more time, and then once this home page loads, the first place you're going to want to go to is under Keys and Requests. When I click on that, I'm going to go to License Keys. Right here in the middle portion, it's asking me to either search for an installation or select it from a list. Typically what I do here is I do a search on installation right here. And also if there's some sort of issue that you're running into and you need to obtain temporary license keys, you can do that. And it will just open up a PDF that contains temporary license keys that you can have access to. Anyway, to get the permanent license keys, what I would do is click on Search for an Installation. And once the screen populates, at the bottom of the page, that's where you're going to put in your installation number and all, and also the other types of information that you're going to need to, in order for SAP to submit those, or for you to submit those license keys to SAP. It's running a little slow here. Let me go and refresh the page. Okay, search for installation. Doesn't seem one to come up really quick for me. So I can try that a different way. I can select it from a list. Okay. While that's coming up, what we can do is try one more time. All right. While that's sorry for that. While that's coming on, we'll talk about our next topic, which will be the Upgrade Management Tool, which is basically what this is that if you're familiar with the older versions of BusinessObjects, it used a tool called Import Wizard. Import Wizard is a way for you to grab your old installation files from an older version of BusinessObjects and put them into a newer version. For example, if you had an XIR2 version and you're upgrading to 3.1, you would use Import Wizard to bring all those files and all your content over. Well, now with the BusinessObjects 4.0, that's changed. So with BusinessObjects 4.0, what now they've changed that tool into something called the Upgrade Management Tool. So right now I'm logged into my BO server, and under Start and All Programs, if I go into the BI Platform 4 and go click on BI Platform again, there's a tool that comes up called Upgrade Management Tool. Once you click on that, then you get the welcome screen here. And on here, you've got two types of upgrades. You've got the complete upgrade, which will just simply upgrade everything over, or you can do an incremental upgrade, which would say that, okay, I want to bring over certain pieces at a time. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do an incremental upgrade and just bring over certain files and not necessarily everything brought over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click Next here, and it's telling me my upgrade scenario. I've got to, live to live means I'm going to upgrade it from one business objects environment to the next. Your other options is saying that to a buyer file, which is a backup file that's generated that you can create within the upgrade management tool, where you can say, okay, I want to bring all the content that was stored in a buyer backup file into my live environment. Or you can just you can flip that and say, well, I want to execute everything from a live CMS or a live BO environment into a buyer file. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do live to live, and I'm going to pull in our old our 3.1 environment, and it's asking for the CMS login credentials or information. Sorry, and I'm going to put that in, and then that's my old one, and this is destination, which is my 4.0 environment. Put in the password. And what that's doing is it's preparing everything for me. And then you'll notice here at the top right, it's telling me my source and my destination. Now on the left side of this, it's telling me what type of content I want to migrate over. And again, if you're familiar with Import Wizard, this is very similar to the Import Wizard, where you would just simply select the specific objects you want to bring over. So in this case, just to, for simplicity's sake, what I'll do is I'll just bring over the universes, and I'll select the Webby Universe folder. Now, if I click here, you'll notice that there's nothing that shows up in here. The reason being is that on the next screen, that's where you can select specific universes that you want to migrate over. Under Options here, under the Options tab, this is very important. This is where you can, if you're talking about migrating folders and reports over, if you've got recurring instances that occur with those, and all instances you want them to be brought over, you can do that by this option. That's still the same as it was in the older version, where it was just a simple checkbox. And here you can say, I want to export all instances of that object if they occur. So again, that's typically you would see that with reports. When you have recurring schedules with those reports, you would typically bring those over. All right, so again, I'm just going to bring over universes, and I'm going to select the Webby Universe. And this is, again, going from my 3.1 environment to my 4.0 environment. And now what it's doing is calculating all the folders, or I'm sorry, all the universes that reside in that folder. And it's telling me that, okay, depending on what I've selected here, I can select the universes I want brought over. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, and if you notice here, it's got all the different, it's got the universes and the connections that are associated with those. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring over the eFashion universe, and I'll bring over the connection as well. So it's kind of nice in this regard that you've got the universes and the connections, everything is there for you. So you can manually select which one you want to bring over. So in this case, I'm just going to bring over the eFashion and the eFashion web connection. So the filter by all objects, if you do the upgrade option, when you click on that, it gives you a screen that populates. And this is similar to what if you saw this in Import Wizard. It's allowing you to, it's going to give you a different type of exporting options. Where either one, if the name is the exact same, how would you want to handle that? If it's saying that if your destination, if it sees the exact same name, how would you want to handle that? Well, if I hit rename object, what it's going to do, it's going to put a 1 or 2 next to the eFashion universe. So I'm bringing over the eFashion universe, and it's going to most likely bring over 2 because I already have an eFashion universe in my 4.0 environment. Your other option here is do not export the object, which means that if it sees the same name, then do not export it on here. And so it's giving you, and this is what's different in 4.0 with the upgrade management tool, is saying that if the incremental export, the upgrade management tool copies an object that already exists with the same CUID, you can either, one, overwrite it, or you have the option here of overwriting it. So even though it's got the same name on here, you can still overwrite that option if you want to. All right? So you can uncheck that. If I want to say, well, I want to only bring over the incremental values in there, then I would uncheck this. And if I only want to overwrite what's in there, I would uncheck or select that box and then bring over this information. Okay. So I'm going to hit. I'm just going to hit cancel there, and then let me. I'm sorry. Okay, there, and hit start. And then once you hit start, it's going to attempt to bring everything over. Okay. And it's going through the process, upgrade complete, and it's telling me that my objects were completed. All right. And it gives you a logging file, and it tells you exactly where all these logs can be located, which is a pretty nice feature. So once I hit close here, now I'm done with the upgrade management tool. So the third option, or the third thing we want to talk about today, was BI Launchpad properties. So the reason why we wanted to bring this up is that within BusinessObjects 4.0, you have the ability to customize your BI Launchpad screen, or in the old version, your info view screen. So in there, what you can do is if you go to your install drive, and then, again, I'm in the server, go to the install drive, go to Tomcat, webapps, BOE, web, INF, config, and default. The BI Launchpad properties, when you open this up, this file contains the different things you can do within the BI Launchpad itself. So as a good example here, if right here I've got, it says choose whether to let the user change the authentication type. If it's not shown, the default authentication type will not be visible. So right here, I have it set to false. So what it looks like right now is it's showing up as in my BI Launchpad right here, and there should be normally there would be an authentication type. On here, it doesn't show up. Now, if I change that to true, what you'll see after I restart Tomcat is that you'll see an authentication field here that will show up for me, and then you can make that change. So yeah, there's some things in here that you can definitely customize in here in order to update your to make your BO4 environment more up to what you're looking for. So those two things are very important when you want to customize once you want to bring in your old content over, and also if you're trying to bring over or trying to customize your BI Launchpad screen to your liking. So let's go back and take a look at the license key issue here. I'm going to try this again and see what we get. Hope it'll take it this time. That doesn't work. I will try to use this in Firefox. Seems like IE doesn't like me today, so we'll try it this way, see what we get. Okay. Okay, there we go. So, all right, under your SAP license key screen, what you're going to do here on the right side is, again, this is to request permanent license keys. So what you'll see once you log in with your S-User ID, what you'll see on the right side is your customer ID. So if you click on the drop down here, I'm going to select WCI Consulting, and then the product information is the list of products that I've purchased. So in this case, I'll say SAP BusinessObjects, and then the installation number, which will tell you the installation or the actual, it gives you the installation number here. And I'm going to say, well, let's use data services on here. And then I'm going to click on search. All right, no system, that's fine. I'm going to click the new system. click on New System, you're saying that, okay, I want to create a new set of license keys that are new request to submit the license key. So in here, I'm just going to say DI4, and you have to give it a name or a system ID for it to reference when this is for SAP in order for them to use it. So once you hit continue there, it's going to give you a list of system type on here. I'm going to say, well, this is my production system. And then it's going to say, currently we don't have a contract for that, so that's where that would be used for. So let me click on the back button, and let's try a different one. Try a different customer here. Okay, so do this. So deal 4. Okay, so this gives me a list of products that I've possibly purchased. So let's say in here, let's say SAP Crystal Reports, and then let's say the list of, again, these are the lists that I've purchased and possibly will use for my business objects. And on here, I'm going to select my Windows. These 4 things are required, and so my operating system is Windows. I'm going to hit continue there. All right, and license material, when I click on the drop-down, it's telling me the list of licenses I have available for me. So in here I'll say, well, I'll use SAP Crystal because that's what I'm trying to purchase. And then the version, when I click on the drop-down, is 2008 and 2011. So it's telling me what version of Crystal I've purchased licenses for. I have Crystal Reports 2008 and Crystal Reports 2011. So in here I'll say 2011, and then the number of licenses, I'm going to hit 1 there. All right. And then I'm going to click on Add, and then it says right there it's got my information on here. I'm going to hit Continue. All right, and then at the very bottom it tells me the license keys information that I've entered. And at the very bottom it's asking me to what email address do you want us to send the permanent license key to. So I'll just confirm my email address and hit Submit. Once I hit Submit, that request goes to SAP, and then SAP within a couple of hours, hopefully, will generate a permanent license key for you and email you back. And once they send you that email back, what you need to do is if you go, once you submit that, once you get that license key, go into your CMC for your environment, log in. All right, and then under license keys, go ahead and put in your license keys that SAP sent you. One thing we have noticed with the 4.0 environment is just to verify after you put in your license key, go back into servers. And we've seen this behavior occur if you have temporary license keys, and then you remove those temporary license keys and you put in permanent license keys. Verify after you put in a permanent license key. Go into server list under the servers and verify that your Webby application, your process server right here, it's set to enabled. If it's disabled, then you may have problems running Webby reports. So once you put in your permanent license key, go back and check under servers, check under the processing server to make sure that this has been enabled. If it's disabled, just enable it, and then you should be good to go. That's all I had for you, Trent. I will hand it back to you.
All right, thank you, Neil. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to use the right-hand side panel, either chat or the questions option. Just to give you a little background on WCI, we've been around since 1998. We specialize in business intelligence. We cover the whole spectrum. Obviously today we're covering business objects. That is one of our specialties. We also have our new instant access bi.com that allows us to basically put a consultant at your fingertips during work hours for much less fee than actually having to hire someone full-time or having billable hours for weeks on end and that kind of thing. Check us out. If you have any questions about that, feel free to email me. Trent Wortham at WCI Consulting, or Neil Dave if you have any questions about today's seminar. We're always looking for new input on what our webinars will cover and how we can better the business intelligence community out there. If you have any ideas or any suggestions, please feel free to send them along.